Okay, so anyone who listens to our podcast might remember that I think it was a week or two ago, wasn't it, Tara? We
Yeah.
interviewed Lewis Rossignol, who is just an amazing and really unique artist. And we were so inspired, and we both actually ordered his book. And so we've come on today to actually have a look through the book and do a little review. So, Tara, what did you think when you got the book through the post?
Well, I had to leave it to fumigate, obviously, because it's coronavirus, so it sat on my desk and I didn't look at it. But then I did, and I love it. I've got to say, I love it. The drawings are in my opinion, they've got like a childlike quality, haven't they?
Yeah, almost like a naive quality.
Yeah, but the composition is so great that it's, I don't know, it's just so different and lovely. And so I thought we were going to show a few pages, aren't we?
I mean, I wasn't like you. The second it came through the post, the coronavirus went out the window. I was tearing through the wrapper trying to get to it. I couldn't wait, and I was not disappointed because it's a lovely book, and I love the quality of the book. I don't know if I just want to make sure everyone can see the book we're talking about, because he's got two, hasn't he?
Yeah.
On his Etsy store.
He's actually got three, hasn't he? But he's sold out of one.
Yeah, one's now out of print. Really lovely book. And did you have some favourites in there to show?
Well, first of all, let's just say this is called Remedial Sketches, and it's basically based on his sketchbooks, isn't it? He's basically scanned all those in and laid them out in here. So it's funny because this morning we both went and pinned the pages we like, so we don't know yet if we've got the same pages. So let me show you one of mine that I've pinned. There we are, thinking I'm nice and organised and I can't get to it. Okay, so that was, can you see that?
Oh, yes, I can. Yeah.
I absolutely love his faces. And I just love how they've got this kind of grungy sort of feel about them. And they're kind of real but not real, if that makes sense. And I just like, and I don't know if this was actually spread in his sketchbook like this or whether he's put two together, but I like how you've got this kind of random bug over here and then this person over here. I really like that.
Yeah, I do. I've picked quite a similar one actually, but let me go through them one by one. Right, this one's a bit different than your one.
Okay, I'm just going to find my next one as well.
So this one, I love both these pages. So you can see here you've got like a street view, and what I love about that is just the fact that it's so you can almost feel you're walking down the street. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just so, it's grubby and it's sort of dirty looking, and I don't know, it just tells a story. It doesn't need to be perfect, does it? It just shows it's actually far more interesting, and I just think the way he's done that, I think what we'll do is we'll put images in the corner, shall we, so that
or over the top of our faces, so they don't have to look at us.
And the other one is this one, this one on this side.
Yeah, I can't actually see it very well. What is it of?
Can
you explain it?
So it's a sketch of a father and son. And what I found really interesting about this one, aside from the fact you can get the relationship between the father and the son, it's the writing behind it. And it's not obvious what it says. On the top, it sort of says, "I have to tell you something, son." And straight away, you're looking, thinking, "Oh, what? I wonder what he's going to say." But it's almost like he's written underneath it and rubbed it out in pencil. And he's written something else over the top, but you can still see some of the words written in pencil underneath. And I had my magnifying glass out because I wanted to know what it said.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell, but you kind of get the impression he's got something quite sad maybe to say, or quite important. I don't know, but it's the fact that it makes you ask those kind of questions, which is why I particularly love those two pages.
Is it maybe as well that he's rubbed it out because he's scared to say it almost?
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? It could be that he just, knew exactly what he was doing, and that's what he wants us to, it could be that simple. Don't know. But again, he's actually on there. I don't know what the relevance of that piece of scrap paper is that he drew over It's hard to see where my finger's going because it's going the opposite way. But he's obviously used some sort of collage, and I was trying to work out what that actually was, and I couldn't. But again, it's one of those. It's nice that these things are making you want to look closer. So what else have you got?
Okay, so I've got this spread. Can you see that?
Yes.
And what I liked about this is you've got this woman in uniform over here. So she's all smart, and obviously, and I don't know if he's meaning to tell this story, but it looks like this is her work. This is her in official mode. And then over here, she's all like gone to pieces with a fag in her mouth. And, and she just looks like a mess here. And it's almost like, this is when I'm at home. This is when I'm up. This is the real me. This is when I'm at work. It's a bit like us, isn't it?
We've all got a real me.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I love it. I'm sure I've tagged a few in here like that. I like this little spread here. Don't know if you can see that.
Is it all the little squares? Because I've tagged on with little squares.
Yeah, but what I loved about this one is here you can see this photograph of these two people in uniform.
Yeah.
And then I love the way he's just added really long legs to these characters. And I just found that quite comical that he does seem to use a lot of old photos, doesn't he?
Yeah. He gets them from flea markets, he was saying, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily people he even knows, but he's playing with them and creating something out of them.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that. Yeah.
This one made me laugh. It was just this. I love the way he's got all this. He's got like bits of paper, like lined paper in here, writing in, and then he's just used bits of tape, and the tape forms part. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Forms part of the drawing, which I love. And the way he's drawn his spiky, hairy legs on here, and then it's almost like, oh, I really enjoyed drawing legs, so I'm going to draw some more here. It's like, you don't know how his mind's working there. And I'd love to know if this came from reference or if this was just out of his head.
There is one thing I can pretty much be sure of, that I don't think anyone would know what he was thinking. No. I don't think anybody would be able to work him out, which is genius. It's absolutely genius for that reason. So here's another one, which is sort of similar in a way to what you've been showing. This is another. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can just see the face on that one.
So it's really interesting because what he's done is he's created this portrait, and there's an element of it that's quite kind of realism kind of type thing, and then and yet he's really highly coloured his nose, really highly coloured his nose, and done these very naive with crayon sort of glasses. And then there's this little tiny newspaper cutting there, which is about toilet powder.
Toilet powder?
And it's apparently about chafing, cream for chafing and that kind of thing. And then it says, we're going ahead happiness, or we're going to spread happiness. His handwriting is sometimes a little bit difficult to work out, but that was interesting. And then he's got this other portrait here, where he's just used this tiny sort of slither of photograph to make the eyes, and then he's filled in the rest. He's filled the rest in with his own drawing, which again, just so clever, simple idea, but very clever.
So I've got another one, which again is the faces, and like you were saying, they're done like, there are elements of realism in there, aren't there? There are elements of, I don't mean realism as hyper realism, but they're definitely people sort of thing. They're not too far away. But then he's done the red nose. Everybody seems to have red noses, don't they? And I like then that he's been much looser with the bodies. It's almost like the face is the thing that you draw in. And again, he's used these little photos cut in. Yeah. And I don't know if this is referring to the place that maybe these people are, or what.
Well, maybe they live here in this street. Can you see that?
Oh, maybe they do, yeah.
And I love the graffiti. And just it's so simple. And you know what, I could have been walking down this street, you know, in London, and we see streets like this all the time, and I'd look at them and think, oh, this is going to be so complicated to draw, but he makes it so, he just simplifies it, but in a way that is so readable, and your mind fills in all of the blanks. And I was intrigued about these little people up here.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, well, what are they going to jump? You know, but just made me ask questions. And yeah, I don't know how many you've got more. I've only got one more.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, me too.
So okay, so mine is this page, and I don't think this is the same one you showed. I couldn't see yours very well, but I just like the way he's broken up the page into all these little tiny sections.
Yeah.
And it's almost like these little swatches. These could almost be separate sketchbook pages. I mean, unless they are.
They might well be.
Yeah. And I just love the way he's done that, and how like there's all these different faces and then bits of writing. And I would just never think about doing that in a sketchbook, but maybe I should.
Yeah,
maybe you should.
Yeah, I've done sort of squares with faces in before, but obviously not quite like that. And here's another one. I'll show you one more. This is a sketch of two people obviously paddling in the sea, wearing sort of old-fashioned swimwear. And I think it's fascinating because obviously you've got just the outline really of their clothes, the few clothes that they're wearing, these very, very naively drawn hands and arms, and yet the story is all there, isn't it? You just, it tells you everything you need to know. What does it say? The queen stays queen, and I can't actually read that bit.
No.
But yeah, it does. It's just one of those things. It makes you ask the questions, and I think that's what I love about it. And I'll tell you what, this is not a tutorial book at all.
No.
But it's just full of his sketches, and he calls them a collection of his experiments. And he said, all drawings within this book came from one of my many sketchbooks. Most of the pages of my sketchbooks are filled with failed experiments. The experiments in this book are only partially failed. I love that. I love it. So, that's definitely, I think that's my favourite book at the moment I've got on my shelf. I don't know whether it's partly because it's obviously new and exciting, but
maybe.
I haven't.
Yeah. So if anybody wants it, they can go to Etsy, his Etsy store, Lewis Rossignol. And this one is called Remedial Sketches. I can't remember what the other one's called, but yeah, check those out.
Yeah. And also, if you want to get to know more about Lewis, you can listen to the podcast episode where we interviewed him. He's a fascinating guy to listen to. He really is. Yeah. So that's it. We'll be back soon with another video of sorts, and we'll see you then.
See ya.
Don't forget to subscribe. Meanwhile, you can check out the creative challenges we have coming up at www.kickinthecreatives.com. Back soon.